Tonight I'm gonna go ahead and make my arrows for my moose hunt next year. Or this year really, in September. I'm making a different arrow specifically for the moose hunt. Probably what I would use for any big animal hunt or predator hunt maybe. But this is gonna be a 500 grain arrow at 26 inches long. It's quite heavy arrow, high grain per inch. This says 8.4 grain per inch Easton axis arrow. I'm going with the 4mm match grade. The hope is get a little bit better performance with the smaller arrow, maybe in penetration, and then the 4mm hopefully bucks wind a little bit better since I'm already going to have a pretty big broadhead on there. I'll show you the individual components. This is an arrow built out. I'm also using a new vane this year. I'm using the AEE hybrid, which I've traditionally used the Hunter. A couple benefits I'm hoping with the hybrid is maybe a little bit more surface area and a little more steering for this big broadhead, but also it looks a little bit easier. It doesn't require the primer pen to install. This is kind of the arrow. I pre-built one just to make sure it would tune throughout my bow. I have a bare shaft already made. Using these stainless points I found online. So this is the broadhead I'm using. It's the cutthroat 3-blade in 150 grains. Here's the fletching I'm using, the AE hybrid. These halo knocks. You see that up close there. The points I'm using are Easton stainless steel, 895 grains. I only shoot about 55 pounds due to some back issues from when I was younger. And because of that, I just want to get as much energy transferred as I can when I go to shoot the moose. So fixed head, heavy up front, going to be high FOC. So this is 95 grain insert, 150 grain point on a 340 grain or a 340 spine, which is really heavy for 55 pounds on a moose. You know, I'm hoping to get close because I believe they're pretty easy to get in on, but at the same time, I want to be able to have some energy if I'm taking a little bit longer shot. So because these two are ready, I'm going to set them to the side, get them out of the way. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh all the shafts, get them in order in terms of weight. I'm going to weigh all the broadheads, get them in order based on the weight, and then organize from there. Okay, so we've got all those. Now we're going to do broadheads. Like I said, these are the cutthroat broadheads, 150 grains, 3-blade. I like these because I think I can sharpen them myself, and I can shoot them all throughout the year. And I think they're going to be more robust than a replaceable blade broadhead. So I've only got 9 broadheads, and I've got 10 more arrows to do. There's only 8 right here because I have one over there. But so I'm going to match these up across, and then we're just going to put field points in the others. So I'm just going to put these together real fast. I can't get this broadhead to go on my inserts. It'll only go this far, and then it locks up. I even tried putting pliers on it just to see. And I've tried it on multiple different inserts now, so I'm not sure what is causing that to lock up, whether it's cross-threaded or what, but that's pretty disappointing for how expensive these are. I've got, I guess, 8 of 9 broadheads on there, no problem. I'll reach out to the company and see what they say. Maybe it's just a bad one, and as long as they make it right, I'll be okay with it. But pretty expensive for it not to want to go into an insert. I've tried all 5 remaining inserts that I have here, and it just locks up in that same position. And then we'll just do field points in the rest of these. I've never used these field points before. I found them on Amazon. What I like about them is they have an O-ring, which hopefully will reduce the amount of backing out. And then what I'm going to do is measure the bundles together. So we've got get that whole thing on there. 243.6. 243.6. So that's a little bit over 1 grain difference between them all. That's pretty satisfactory. The broadheads themselves are all within about a grain of each other. I just want to see how far off these are. That one is 15 even. 15 even, that's the heaviest they've been. 15 even. So 14.6 to 15. That's really good. That's less than half a grain off. We'll go opposite. So we'll go heaviest with lightest and so forth down the line. Next up is the arrow shaft. So I'm going to put the unweight on this side and the weight on this side, and then we're going to stick our components together. Once we've done that, then we'll get ready to fletch. So they make a little thing for these that's nice, that holds the arrow in place. I don't have one, so we're going to have to be kind of careful to make sure that it stays balanced on there. To 18.2s kind of in the lower middle. So we've got heaviest to lightest, heaviest to lightest, heaviest to lightest. So I'm going to start matching these to those. I have 2 leftovers of these also because I built 2 arrows already. Okay. Now we're going to glue the components together. What I like to do for the insert in the broadhead is I like this Loctite. I just use the blue Loctite super glue. And this has worked really good for me. I've never lost components. I have friends who do, not regularly, but they have. The only thing with this is you got to get it on fast. What I like about it is that it is really strong, but I've had friends who try to use it and have had inserts get stuck halfway in or out because they were trying to pull them out or align them. So my recommendation is to always do it before you do your fletching, and get them in there pretty quick and firmly, just because once they're in, I think these stay in really well. So got all those done. Get these lighted nocks in there. All these are lightest to heaviest, and these are heaviest to lightest, so we're just going to go straight down the line and get them lined up so that when we do our fletching, they line up with all our broadheads. All right. Last thing to do is to fletch these. So what I'm going to do, put away that. I'm going to take an alcohol wipe to prep them, and I'm going to just kind of run down the back half of all these. And once they've been wiped, I'm going to set them aside. Next up, we're just going to start fletching. Aside from these veins being a little bit softer, I've heard that they're maybe a little bit quieter than the Hunter veins, and they don't require a primer pen. So I'm going to give these a try this year. We'll see how well they do. And then, like I said, I have the Arizona, I think it's called an Easy Fletch, but I'm not 100% confident. That could be wrong. Kind of get it loose from where I was using it before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure all my broadheads are tight. make sure my nock is good, and I'm going to align the cock vane with the point of the arrow, and I'm just going to look down and make sure that that's aligned how I want it, and that looks pretty good. So this has an indexer in it, and you can actually hear it click when you move the nock around, and what that's doing is setting the position of the arrow inside of the jig. So I've got that how I like it. I'm going to load 3 vanes, sorry, excuse me. Load 3 vanes. Pull the cap off of this glue and apply a little bit to each vane. I'm going to get the vanes kind of started, so I'm just going to get them up and ready to adhere and line them up using the cap, push down, and I'll lock this into place. So that first one is set. I'm going to let it sit for just a second before I take it off, make sure everything has a good chance to adhere. Then I'm going to get a close-up of the next one I do here, and we're just going to put it on repeat for 10 more arrows. Start with this open. Make sure your cock vane matches up with your nock where it has one of the points. I'm going to take the broadhead off, load the fletch, make sure it's all the way down to the bottom to get it consistent. All right, I'm just going to apply some glue to each vane. The glue I'm going to use is AEE Max Bond. Make sure there's a good amount on there. Make sure it's evenly distributed. I'm going to take the cap, slide it over, kind of get these all started. Firmly push the cap on. And we're going to pop and lock this. That just adds pressure to it. Then we let it set. Okay, while I'm waiting for that one to dry, I'm going to go through and take this arrow, and I'm just going to put a dab of glue on the front of the vane and then at the back of the vane, and that just helps if it's going through targets or animals or what have you to help keep the vanes on. All right, this is the last one. I'm really happy with how these came out. We're gonna do a quick pan over, but those are my moose hunting arrows for 2023, or 2024, excuse me. They should be just about 500 grains. Let's weigh one of these bad boys and see what our total weight is. Let's see how we can balance this. Total weight on this bad boy is 508.2. It's a good look at them. Pretty happy with that.